On this episode, we talk Salsa Ride Camp, we talk RPI, we answer a bunch of questions, Matt gets social, and there's even a scotch of Star Wars. Boom. Ooh. Welcome to This is Gravel. I am Bobby Thompson, the casual cyclist, and sitting next to me, as almost always, is Leland, the Incredible Danes.
The Incredible.
I added that today.
Because the Incredible Hulk.
You walk. We're not going back to the superhero stuff. You walked through the door. I saw a glow, and I was like, incredible.
I felt radiant today.
You felt radiant. You know why you felt radiant?
I do know why.
You've been on the bike.
I rode a bicycle.
Leland rode a bike. We should have a book, like a children's book that says Leland rode a bike.
I could write that.
You could do that. Okay, what have you been doing on the bike?
You illustrate.
I can't. I'll have my daughters draw pictures.
Even better. Yes, I went to Salsa Ride Camp this past weekend with the brothers O'Mara, the infamous bike packers of Emporia, Kansas, and no longer one take Blake, but now out of the gate Blake.
I heard he got his beauty sleep.
Yes, the man gets plenty of rest even when camping, and he. Well, there was I thought at one point there was a bear outside my tent, but it turns out it was just Adam, so that's
nice.
all right. But he definitely recharges his batteries because he comes out of the gate.
Gone.
Oh
moving.
Boy, he just hits it and he's ready to.
How did he do without drinking a full pot of coffee? Not to make the whole show about Adam, but I just got to know because during the day at the shop,
the people need to learn a little bit more about out of the gate Blake. Well, here's the nice thing about Ride Camp is even though you're camping, it's a camping experience. They do cater to you. Okay. And he had his coffee every morning.
I'm sure he did. I'm sure he had his and many other people's also.
Yeah.
So you'd recommend it for
families?
I would
highly recommend it. Yeah, and in fact, I was surprised at the number of children there, and actually the number of toddlers there. This was a family camping experience, and there were children activities.
Awesome.
There's pretty much anything for anyone to do there, from, of course, obviously bike riding, right? That's what you're there. The full line of salsa demos there for your amusement. You could wake up each morning, go turn in your license, and they'll hand you a bike.
Hop on a bike.
And away you go. And there is world-class single track, world-class gravel. More like ATV fire roads, but not gravel as we know it here.
Right.
But also some better groomed gravel as well. And they did some long gravel rides. But yeah, so lots of riding, catered meals, fly fishing. You could go learn how to pack down a rod, carry it on your bike, and go do some fly fishing. Not for me, but but I stink at fishing.
I know it's one of the kids' favorite activities from Salsa. So yeah.
So tons of fun, great weekend, 2.5 days of this. An extra third day if you wanted to do the add-on bike packing trip on the Thursday night if you on the front end of things. So, but the biggest takeaway I had was not just all of the experiences I had that weekend, but the inspiration and motivation for future adventures. Part of what they do is feed you. They feed your soul and inspire you to do more and kind of show you, or at least begin to show you what's possible. Especially on their bicycles, adventure by bike.
I saw the new bike that's coming out that lets you do about anything.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, pick your poison, whether you want to go fast or you want to go take everything, including the kitchen sink. They've got a bike for you and everything in between to suit every need. But the other beautiful thing is nearly every one of their bikes serve more than one purpose. From the Warbird, which can do some light gravel road bike packing, to the Deadwood and the Black Burro, and bikes that can basically take everything and take the hardest trails and still carry all that fun stuff. So
I think it's awesome.
You can tell. I'm excited.
So Leland takes the whole summer off basically from bike riding, and he picks up running. Right? He picks up running. He doesn't have a single thing to say for 2 months. He takes one weekend on biking, and you can't shut him up. I'm not saying biking is better than running. I wouldn't want those kind of comments, but I just gotta say, it sounds like it was an awesome
For all the
time.
runners out there, it's just because this isn't a running show, so I leave that out of here. There are a couple good merits to running, but by and large, riding bikes is where it's at, people.
There you go.
Get a salsa, have some adventure.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice
and
plug.
you were out and about recently too since the last show.
Man, if I could talk as long as you did, the show would be 30 minutes long. But I'll tell you what. Yeah, I went to.
I didn't talk for 15 minutes.
I went
My math
to
is way
Vegas
off.
Private Idaho, which this is my 3rd year. And I could say, it's a great ride, great views, great town, great people, volunteers, everything.
So none of that's changed.
None
That's
of that
good.
has changed. But what changed this year was she had what's called the Queen's Stage Race for the first time this
right.
year. There was a invitation-only event, which
And
I don't
you
know
got a golden
how
ticket?
I got invited, but I got the golden ticket.
Well, you're famous, basically. So.
Right, so I got to go. There was, I think there was 49 of us that got to go on this thing. And what it entail was Thursday prior to the event, you have a 40-mile timed segment for 40 miles, which consisted of some hike-a-bike, not muddy hike-a-bike, but just off the trail because the trail was unrideable hike-a-bike, which is so much more
Okay.
fun than muddy hike-a-bike. Seriously,
Isn't
I
it
could
though?
do just off the trail dry hike-a-bike. Yeah, it's like, hey! But, okay, so you had that, and then you had more, you had some, up and downs, and then you had a single track for about 3 or 4 miles right in the middle. And this wasn't just like flowy single track. This was climb single track and descend fast single track. And you want to see some fun. There needs to be a camera installed out there next year, as long as no one gets hurt. Because you put a bunch of people who are used to riding gravel-centric bikes on single track and say it's a race, and you get some pretty funny results. So, so that was fun. That was day one. So then you take a rest. You all meet back up, and you rest the rest of the day. I took naps out on the porch, ate. It was nice. I had a beer or two. Next day you get up, boom, 49 miles. But it's a 20-mile casual rollout. And remember, casual rollout, you're rolling out with people like Ted King, Yuri from
Yes.
Goo. So casual to
Differing
them
levels
is,
of casual.
Right. Casual to them is 15 miles an hour.
Maybe producer
3%,
Matt can
4%
create a
grade,
nice
right?
infographic so we
Right.
can visualize the Ted King casual
See,
versus
you're
the
taking
casual
up my
casual.
15 minutes here.
Oh,
So real quick. So I get there, I drop off the back. I do 10 miles an hour. They're 15. So they have to wait on me. Because what happens is it's a casual rollout, and then you have a 4.5 mile mountain timed climb.
Well, you got to save your
Right.
energy.
So everybody has to wait. I didn't know they'd all be waiting on me. I thought they'd already be up the climb. So here I come, slow poke, casual Bobby, and it was fun though. So we all got to go. 30-second start times, boom, 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 boom. It was really fun to see how many people you could tick off, catch going up the hill.
sure.
So that was a blast. So those 2 rides, I think, actually gave me a better 93-mile ride on Sunday to help get me acclimated to the elevation, help get me what gears I wanted to use on the climb, because you have a very similar climb. And I had a great Sunday. I had a great ride this
you
year,
did.
so yeah. So
Get that bolo?
Oh, so okay. The bad thing about a ride becoming more popular is apparently there's a lot of people out there that are faster than me. So there's
Who would have known?
I know, right? So there's
hard
faster
to
people
believe.
coming to the ride, and so maybe another year. But I
But you clocked an amazing time.
5 hours and 46 minutes.
So
I think.
540 still doesn't get you the bolo.
No, bolo cutoff was
Not
524.
anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
So
what can you do?
what can you do?
Except, maybe
Have a
get
good time.
faster. Have a good
And
time.
go
So it was a
fast.
blast. It was a blast. So what do you got coming up?
I don't know when I'll be riding the bike again. Hopefully soon. But we've got Rush the Rails coming up, right?
Rush the Rails is coming out.
Yeah,
Explain
so-
very quickly the
We've
grand
talked a little
concept.
bit, but
We have, it's coming up now.
Fondo style ride. It's about 3 weeks out from the time you watch this. And there are 3 distances, all non-competitive, but we will time you because it's fun, right? You want to know how fast you're going, even if you're not racing against others. You can race against the clock, right? 96 miles is the full distance from Osawatomie, 54 miles from Pomona State Park, and 25 miles from Admire, all ending in Council Grove.
All on the Flint
That's
Hills
the
Nature
whole
Trail.
point. All on the Flint Hills Nature Trail, converted rail bed to trails. Ton of fun, great supported checkpoints along the way. The communities are really turning out and ready to make this a good time. So you'll have
Big
aid
party at the
stations.
end.
Big party at the end. Council Grove's going all out. Live music, fireworks show when the sun goes down. There's a barbecue contest, on and on. Antique and unique bike show, prizes to be had. Of course, the great swag you'll get when you come across the finish line will give you a meal voucher and free beer tickets. So lots of reasons to sign up. I'm not thinking of any not to.
No, it sounds like a great time.
Yeah, registration.
It's gonna be a lot of what the riders make of it also, as far as the between the towns part. It's just about having fun, camaraderie, being social. Okay.
Yeah, if you've got the legs, I highly recommend the full distance because you'll see a variety of terrain. You'll go from eastern wooded Kansas to Flint Hills prairie, and so you'll see some different beautiful sights. And yeah, registration is open until September 23rd. That's only about a week, again, from the time you're viewing this. That's Saturday the 23rd. So if you want in, get signed up, do it today, because no day of signups, folks.
Bring me cupcakes if you ride. I'd love to get a cupcake on the trail.
Boom,
that'd be
there you
awesome,
go.
wouldn't it? Someone rides up and they're like, "You want a cupcake?" You're like, "Okay, I want a cupcake."
Bobby's
Why would I
riding.
want a cupcake?
Yeah. You doing the 25 with your daughter? Is that
I'm gonna go ahead.
Okay.
We're gonna go ahead and do the 100. I think.
Doing the full distance.
Team Mulready's that I ride with. We're gonna try to just kind of hang together, have fun, and kind of a wind down for the end of the race ride season.
Nice.
So, yeah.
And I will say, for the runners who might be watching, or if you know someone crazy that runs, mention to them that there is a run as well going on, and that is competitive relay run. So get out with your friends, cover the full distance course. Bobby, what about you? What are you doing? Because no one wants to hear about me.
You always say that with such great enthusiasm.
You.
Bobby, what about you?
Well,
I've talked about what I'm doing.
It's not a lack of enthusiasm.
No,
it's cynical irony because everyone knows you want to talk about yourself.
I don't want to talk about myself. I want to talk about other people. I'm going to ride with other people. We have, it's, gravel has come to the point where almost every weekend there's gravel rides.
Something all the time.
Something going on.
Love it.
As fall comes up, I think that you start seeing a lot more casual, local rides, shorter distances sometimes, but you see that kind of people winding down their traveling season, and that's what's coming up. We have Lap the Lakes coming up. I know that we have the Hondo, which is just a few miles away, coming up.
Down in Wichita.
What is this? There's a Grassland Gravel Grinder coming up in Council. That's what's
Which is
coming
not a gravel hundo.
Right, no, absolutely
Which is
not.
just fine. Not everything needs to be a century
has to
ride.
Be 100, right, a century, right. No, 40 miles, 60 miles, fun rides, do everything coming up. And so that's what's coming up. We have a lot of those leading into the fall, leading into November, and then we stop because it gets cold, and I'm not sure I'm ready for the cold.
You don't have to stop. In fact, that feels like good material here coming up soon.
That might be good material.
How to ride in the cold.
I have a lot of local rides in my basement during the winter. So because Leland and I have talked so much and so in depth about what we've been doing, because we've been doing so much, right? We've been doing,
tons of fun.
Oh my gosh, so much. We're going to roll right into the next segment, which what we like to call Social Time with Matt Fowler.
We love seeing what you've been doing.
Yes.
Tell us all
let's see
about
what you
it.
guys been doing.
Hey, thanks, Bobby and Leland. We all know you guys really do enjoy talking about yourself, but it is my favorite time as well, staying social. There's been a ton of events going on and kind of a few trends going on in our photos this week. A lot from RPI up in Idaho, Salsa Ride Camp, and some events down in Oklahoma as well. Let's take a look. This photo is from Ashley Cooper up at RPI, and she also did a recovery ride outside Jackson Hole on the trail. Brian Hibbs went for a ride through Talladega National Forest down in Alabama. Cassie Krotz was also with Rick Becker up there at Ketchum, Idaho for RPI. Kurt Larson did a mixed terrain ride in the Black Hills of South Dakota. Doug Schmidt was up at the Pony Express Gravel Dash. Fred rode the Dirty Boar 170-kilometer over in Belgium. Jacob rode the Do Waka Do, his first gravel grinder, and did the 60-miler. Awesome job to get out there for your first time. Jeff Peterson did the Pony Express 75. He said it was a great weekend and a very well done event. Jim was out riding in Juneau County, Wisconsin. Joshua Coder was up riding with friends in central Minnesota. Mark went on a 50-mile solo loop ride outside Eagle, Colorado. That looks like a fun time in the mountains. Matt Hopkin did a 3-day self-supported trip, 231 miles, on the George Mickelson Trail up in South Dakota Black Hills. Megan Merriman did an overnight bikepacking trip on the Katy Trail. That's an awesome tunnel there just outside Rocheport. Mike Reynolds went up with the fat bike to the Monarch Crest in Colorado. Pat Smith took on the Pig Trail gravel grinder down in the Ozarks of Arkansas. Robert Franklin loaded up his bike for some urban gravel in Fort Worth, Texas. He's testing the load for a possible trip in October. Roy Dean got out and rode the 42-mile gravel route at the Do-Waka-Do south of Eric, Oklahoma. What beautiful country. Sarah was up riding around Des Moines and ended up on some unplanned gravel on a road bike. Said that's the wrong bike. Simon Maurer was up at Salsa Ride Camp. That looked like an awesome time. And Terry Whitson was checking out Rebecca's Private Idaho in Ketchum, Idaho. As always, make sure you stay tuned with all of our social media and share your photos with us using hashtag #ThisIsGravel.
Did you see all that stuff?
Oh my goodness.
Can we do all that stuff?
Yeah, with enough time and money.
Okay.
Anything's possible.
If you give us free room and board, maybe we'll give it a shot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe
And travel. Ooh, travel's the big one.
You might get a Facebook message from the casual cyclist saying, "Hey, can I stay on your couch?"
Ooh.
Your answer is no. But it's question and answer time.
Don't they do that on some show somewhere? Okay, go. Look at you.
Rip it open.
That's
Okay.
a lot of words.
Your questions are answers. Number 1, Bobby, you don't get to look. Have you ever used an oval chain ring? If you have, could it be a benefit for gravel?
Well, this is a very easy question for me.
Oh,
Yeah, I know,
because
right?
you know everything?
I do. And the reason this is an easy question is I have not used an oval chain ring. I would love to try out an oval chain ring. I actually was looking at them today because I got to replace my front rings on my bike. So I was looking at Absolute Black has a double front chain ring where you can just replace the small one and the big one up front. So yes, I've looked at it. I've done a small amount of research on it, but no, I have not used one. Have you ever used one?
I have not either.
Okay.
So I'm afraid we're not much help. You know, I only know what you can read online. Supposed to eliminate dead spots, maybe fix some knee pain, that kind of thing.
Helps with climbing?
Yeah, but I can't vouch for any of that myself. So I guess, where are the oval chain ring users?
Right.
Weigh in on this. Let us know.
I would love to see is obviously producer Matt has a nice section called comments on his Facebook page. Anyone who has tried oval chain rings, anyone who considers themselves even a minor expert on the matter, hop on there and let's start some talk about it. Absolutely. Yep.
We're going to crowdsource the answer to that one.
I like that one. We're going to crowdsource it. Boom. All right. Because I really want one, so if I could somehow get my hands on one, I would definitely switch to it. But just saying. Okay.
Wink, wink.
Okay, well, I've heard a lot about this question here recently, actually, and it always makes me smile. Preferences on 1x or 2x setup for Midwest gravel riding and racing. So,
well, it's kind of like a baby introduction to single speeding, right? But instead of going single speed front and rear, you're just going single on the front, right? So the concept is less maintenance, less componentry to get messed up, and if you get the gearing right, less weight marginally. But if you get the gearing right, then they're doing some fantastic things with rear cassettes that the gearing range is so wide that you can get by with a 1x. And less chance for issues in the mud and that kind of thing with a front derailleur. Just one less piece of machinery to worry about, I guess. So, what was preference? Yeah, I've got 1x on both of my bikes. Cutthroat. No. Cutthroat's 2x, and my Bear Grease is 1x. You got to think about that sometimes. So,
gears for miles, miles for smiles.
Yeah.
Good to go.
There you go.
I think it's great water cooler conversation or beer counter conversation. I think you're going to have your advocates for either side. I only have 2x set up on my bikes. 1x is something that, again, with the oval chain ring, I was maybe going to try out 1x also. 2x is not holding me back at all. I get it, and I understand the preferences for either way. But no, I don't have a preference on either one. I'd like to try both next year. So.
Yep. Very good. I think more importantly is just making sure you've got a small gear for your toughest climbs and headwinds, and a big enough gear for your stiffest tailwinds.
Your power numbers, people, and your cadence numbers people. I could see why they would hate the 1x because maybe they can't find just that exact sweet spot. The sweet spot they like to go into. But usually, especially if you don't know any better, you're going to love a 1x. So.
What's the best way to handle or carry your bike in a hike-a-bike section? Do you walk, jog, cry? You just had some hike a bike that wasn't muddy, so
Yeah.
what was your preferred method
So
there?
yeah, it's the shoulder, up and over the shoulder method, top tube over the shoulder. As long as it's a shorter hiking bike. In the cases where we had the 3 mile section, it's got to be whatever. I'm older and back problem sets in, right? It's whatever the body can handle. This eventually switches to this, eventually switches to, to this side, to whatever you can do to make it through the section. But yeah, if it's quick and I'm running or something like that, then it's just over the shoulder.
Yeah, there's hardly any reason to jog, whatever time you're going to gain by jogging. And most likely you're in a situation, if you're hiking, biking, then the terrain has dictated that you're off your bike and you're probably not going to jog, right? And therefore, I would say if you can, roll your bike. But again, if you're biking, you're probably not able to roll your bike because it's muddy and there's no need to add extra weight to those tires. I'm more of a across the back kind of guy, but that's because there's a lot of hardware on this shoulder and it really grinds on me.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
You tried to play Superman when you were in your younger years?
I did.
Awesome.
I didn't fly very far.
A lot of people do that. All right. With winter around the corner. Really? Already?
Ooh, it's not even fall yet.
Do you ride gravel in the winter months? What gear do you recommend? I'm guessing clothing and stuff like that, not what gears do you recommend?
Well, I mean, this would be a time I would advocate for single speed if we're talking about gearing. Again, less maintenance as you get into the winter months. But yeah, absolutely, we ride gravel in the winter. Yeah. But then again, last winter here was extremely mild.
Producer Matt has something.
This was from one of our followers in Minnesota. So
oh, goodness. Our Minnesotan friends. Goodness gracious.
Yes.
Winter here, we were doing a winter solstice ride and it was 55 degrees at 10 o'clock at night. So we don't get proper snow and that sort of thing. Get a fat bike.
Well, let's talk about cold though.
Yeah.
Even when it's cold, we do ride when it's cold.
Slushy, snotty.
Yeah, we just don't get the snow, but we get the cold and we get the rainy and we get the slushy and that kind of stuff. So, and yes, we do ride if the gravel allows it to be ridden. Otherwise, we hop on the road for a little while, a day or two. We don't like to, but that's what we do.
Here's my recommendation. There was a gear component question to that. I am a fan of bar mitts. Check them out if you haven't done so already. I will tell you this, I have not found a pair of gloves on the market that can stand up to what bar mitts can do. In fact, even in very cold temperatures, 20 to 30 degrees, for a shorter ride, I could be gloveless in those things. But even with a lightweight pair of gloves under there, it gives you the mobility to still get into your bags and still tear into your nutrition and things like that without having those big lobster claws that you can't do anything with, even if they did keep you mildly warm. And that's my number one thing.
And where we're at, it's the biting wind that gets us more than the actual than snow or anything like that. It's just that wind just cuts through
Keep your core and your hands warm and your toes, and you'll be just fine.
Right. One quick story. So I wore bar mitts for the first time last year on a ride, and we chose a ride that had a really steep decline, and I like to be in the drops, so I was killing this. I was killing the decline, right? Man, I was racing down, and then at the end you have to turn really quick. Yeah, so the brakes are in the bar mitts, and so I had to reach out front and just push really hard from the front. So
silly Bobby, brakes are for slowing you down anyways. Just rail it.
This one, okay.
Okay, number 5, Bobby, I'm going to turn this over to you.
We added a number 5 at the last minute because this is a very special question, and the question is for me.
I can assist in no way.
And I want to read this directly so that we get this right because this is very, very important stuff right here. For my friend Daniel from Iowa, who I love to death, and we met at 24 Hours of Coming. He just finished his first Ironman Wisconsin, I believe, and absolutely killed it.
Is that a gravel Ironman?
It was not a gravel Ironman, but he still killed it. Okay, I want to know Bobby Thompson's opinion on the origins of Supreme Leader Snoke with 93 days until the premiere of the new movie. I'm excited to hear his opinion. Do you even know what this is about?
There's a new Hunger Games?
Do you even know what this is about?
There's a new Hunger Games?
So this is about Star Wars, right? Okay, here's what I think, Daniel. What I think is that the Supreme Leader Snoke, I don't want to ruin it for people, but I will say this. There will be a surprise appearance from Dangerous Dan himself.
Oh my goodness.
In the next episode of Star Wars. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. So if you have your opinion, I'd like to hear that too. How's that? Perfect? Dan? Perfect?
No, you gave us nothing.
I gave you a lot. I said there's going to be a surprise appearance by Dangerous Dan. No? Okay. That's all I got for you right now. So, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, producer Matt.
Thanks everyone for tuning in. Make sure you come to gravelguru.com. Hashtag this is gravel on Instagram. Come on, you'd like to do all the social media stuff.
Let us know about your oval chain rings if you've used them. We want to hear about it.
And send
let
us
us know
some
what questions you have.
Okay, send us cookies.
Yeah, always send us cookies.
Okay, thanks everybody.